Three more games to come for you this afternoon at the Ladbrokes Players Championship Finals here on stage 2. It is the most desirable man on the planet versus Kettering's most eligible bachelor, Steve Beaton, the bronzed Adonis, and rapid Ricky Evans. This is going to be quick. There will be no messing around. It could be very, very high quality. We know that Ricky can be streaky. To be fair to him, over the last 18 months, he has become more consistent. That is why he's started qualifying for tournaments which he has not made before. But if we're honest, the very good form that we saw from him at the start of the year, it's kind of tailed off a bit. Has he got a last kick in him at the end of 2019? Here in Minehead and then going into the World Championship, Steve Beaton, well, you kind of know what you're going to get. It's going to be beautiful to watch. It could be magnificent in terms of the performance levels. Let's see how this one unfolds over the next, 10 minutes maybe?
How many times have we been commentating on games with Ricky or with Steve, and in this case both of them, where the game has lasted less than 10 minutes? But the first thing we need to address is the fact that Ricky Evans is using his old darts. Now, earlier this season, he made the switch to a new set, and they worked brilliantly well. But Ricky has this proclivity of moving to his old set when things get a bit sticky. And I think he should have persevered with the other ones because they were fine.
Well, I mean, he did make the European Championship quarterfinals, which is a massive step forward for him. I mean, that wasn't that long ago. Rapid Ricky Evans, as I say, he's doing things that he's not done before. A couple of finals this year, one on the Players Championship Series, one on the Euro Tour. And it came after a Euro Tour final at the back end of last year. So he's putting those runs together in clusters. It's not just one a year he's having. But I think that, just winning a couple of games here would do wonders for his confidence. But Beaton gets a dart at the ball, and he's not far away.
Beaton clips the wire. Evans does not scare the double 12. Steve makes sure of the 9. Is that too close? I think it may have been, and there's just signs from both players have a little bit of edge at the start of this one, but Ricky, you can see from that little mini celebration that there's a bit of a tense nature about him right now. Is the pressure of the last few weeks just bringing anxiety this stage this afternoon?
Well, that's it. I mean, the quarterfinal run at the Euros, it's obviously a massive thing for Ricky Evans. Beat Glenn Durrant in the first round, then took out Michael van Gerwen's conqueror Ross Smith, and only lost out to Rob Cross, a good mate of his and from the same management stable. But still a big significant thing for Ricky Evans. But you just look at all the stuff around that. Didn't qualify for the World Series of Darts finals or the Grand Slam. It was a number of first round exits. Almost every single Players Championship event he was going out in round 1. Round 1 exit at the World Grand Prix. Not doing anything on the European Tour since September, the International Darts Open, where Gerwyn Price retained his title. So it hasn't been particularly good. And then the European Championship happened, and then we've not seen it. So has he been champing at the bit to get back in action? Has he been hammering the practice board? I would imagine he has.
I think, and some people at home may think this is a little bit controversial, but I sometimes think that Ricky plays too much. And we'll come back to that in the next leg, because Steve Beaton's about to hit a 160 out.
He was, and he did, and a bronzed Adonis levels at 1-all.
I personally think that Ricky Evans sometimes plays too much. It's important as a professional darts player to have other things going on in your life. If you monitor Darting Hunk 180 on Instagram, which is Ricky Evans's handle, he is a lunatic, and he's a lovable one at that. But he does play a lot of local darts, and he does practice an awful lot. I think sometimes, in order for him to be relaxed when he plays, he sometimes just needs to not play as much.
Well, I think probably in the past, Ricky Evans has been guilty of maybe not taking it seriously enough. I think his good mate Dave Pallett, who's a former semi-finalist here in Minehead at the UK Open, of course. Moving down to Northamptonshire has actually forced Ricky to get back into practicing more. And maybe you're right, maybe he does need a little break every now and again. But look, he's certainly got talent and he's exciting to watch. And yes, he is daft as a brush, but he has got some ability. And when he's in full flow, Ricky Evans really is one of the most exciting players on the planet to watch.
Quite an important exchange here. If Ricky can take this out, he will get the lead back. And I saw that as a huge chance, because you get the feeling that Beaton is chomping at the bit with this. Double 16. Enough room to the right, and he takes it. That was inevitable for me. And Ricky Evans is being put to the sword on the doubles. And there's just a difference when you have both players in shot there. Beaton looks hungry, and Evans looks hopeful.
Well, it's the first time they've met this year, these two. It is their 7th meeting in total. Ricky's won a couple, Beaton the other 4. Including one at the UK Open, but that wasn't when it was held here. That was back in 2010. That would have been Bolton. Steve Beaton, the winner on that occasion. Their only meeting on a big stage.
Do you think that's a really big factor here, considering how the players arrive at Minehead? They play 30 Players' Championship events on the floor, which is different to playing on the stage. But now they're on the stage. Does European Tour form now come into play?
It certainly, look, Steve Beaton knows what it's like to play on stage. He's been doing it for decades. But Ricky Evans, with the European Tour, as big as it is, he now has a lot of big stage experiences. 2-time Euro Tour finalists, all in the last 15 months or so. Now, he knows what it's like, and some of those have been in front of big German and Dutch crowds that can be hostile. Bigger than this crowd here. Playing on stage should not hold any fears for Ricky Evans. And he is making big tournaments like the Grand Prix and the match play for the first time in his career.
Same kind of exchange as the last leg. He cannot take it out. And once again, Beaton is lurking. You cannot afford to give Steve Beaton these chances. 16 and bull now has to be the route.
And that's some way off for Beaton. It's a let-off for Rapid Ricky. We're in no time at all. Oh, he's moving to the left, so over the top. And that is a heck of a dart from Rapid Ricky Evans. I thought the way he was moving, he was making life harder for himself, but we don't have quite the same angle that the players have got, and they are the ones who know how their darts behave and how they can use them better than anybody else.
Can you sense, Dan, that Ricky is trying to play his way out of a tiny little slump? Just looking back at the last year and a bit of all of the European tours that we've been watching him on, and you at the Players' Championship events, he's got a really relaxed nature about his game. He's got speed and a real fluidity to his game. But today I see a more tense Ricky Evans than I've ever seen.
I think we said it earlier on. Oh dear, that's a bit of a wild one from Ricky. We said it earlier on, some of these players we've not seen for a good couple of months. They might have been playing in local tournaments or been practicing at their clubs or at home or whatever, but they've not been playing top-level competitive darts, which for most of the year they're doing week in, week out. Sometimes when you're making lots of European tours, as Ricky Evans has been doing, you're playing competitive darts most days of a month. You might be playing 15, 16, 17, 18 days in a month, playing against the top players in the world. Now, we haven't seen these guys doing that for the last couple of months, if you've not made the Slam or the World Series finals. And they will be desperate to get back up there, but sometimes you can be a bit too desperate.
Tops for Beaton is plucked, and he gets the lead back. But Dan, you're correct. Professional dart players are professional whingers as well.
Oh, yeah,
and when they don't have the opportunity to go to Wigan or Barnsley for a couple of months. They think, oh, I want to go to Wigan and Barnsley. But in the springtime, when they're constantly there, they're saying, I'm sick of the sight of Barnsley and Wigan.
Yeah, well, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But these guys nowadays with millions and millions and millions of pounds on the tour, the opportunities are there for them. Ricky Evans was selling petrol in a garage in Northamptonshire just, 18 months ago or so. But his darts career has taken off to an extent, and he's taking it seriously. He is putting the hours in, as Beaton does his very best to leave a bogey number.
What did Steve Beaton do before he was a professional dart player?
I mean, I don't think there was a time when Steve Beaton wasn't a professional dart player. That was when dinosaurs ruled the earth, as Ricky Evans produces the 180. And nobody can get a grip on this game. People are having half-decent legs, and they're not backing it up.
Most legs, they've been neck and neck. This is no different. Ricky needs double 12. That is only just missed. And this shot for Beaton is huge. Can he find that 60? I'm almost surprised that he didn't go for bull there, because he couldn't see that treble 20 bed.
He's so old school, though, the Adonis. Double 6. There it is. We do have a level game once more. We have not seen a gap of more than a leg in this match. Evans 1-0 up, 2-1 down. And now it's 3 apiece.
I think Steve Beaton is the only player in the top 128 in the world who uses that shape of a flight. And you may say there are other players who use the pear-shaped flight. Well, Steve Beaton uses one that's slightly enlarged. And I think he's the only person who uses it. Fabulously coordinated with the shirt, though. White and the navy blue.
Yeah, very smart, although still a little bit concerning about Steve Beaton's stems not being uniform colour. But look, Steve Beaton, he can do what he wants.
He's always had a little bit of something for different coloured stems. A bit like Darius Labanauskas. He's got the flag of Lithuania over the 3 colours.
Yeah, I like that thinking. That's good.
Ricky's flights, when he changed to that colour early in the season, I said that they looked like the inside of a Turkish delight wrapper.
Solid shout. That gets Beaton down to a 2-darter. Ricky Evans again, a decent leg to break, and then he's just not backed it up with anything. Leaves the 101 that he missed a dart for in the last leg. Will he get a go at it? Probably not now.
He has scared this finish in this match. Needs the treble 19. Needs just a degree of languidness with that last dart. Almost believing that Beaton's already beaten him. Well, he has now in that leg to take the lead again. This is a break fest.
Well, they held throw in the first 2 legs. Every leg since has been a break. Nobody can just grab this game by the scruff of the neck. Steve Beaton, a strong leg here, and the match is in the palm of his hand. But they're just making it so hard for themselves.
That's Ricky's career, really. He has made things hard for himself a lot throughout the course of his career so far. He went 2-0 down against Simon Whitlock at the Worlds and fabulously came back and won. But you can see from the expressions after that worldie of a dart that he's just making it hard for himself on the dartboard today. And I think with Ricky Evans, it's just about harnessing his existing skill. He can do things on a dartboard that very few people in the world can do. But I think even his pace needs to be tempered sometimes.
I think he probably has tempered it a little, but at the minute he's just not playing brilliantly. This is a man who he's no stranger to the sort of 107, 108 averages. He's got those big performances in him. Oh, that is such an unfortunate deflection. It was nearly an attempt at tops for a second 160 check out of the match for Beaton.
I can't say that I'm surprised by some of the darts in this match, because that's perfect from Ricky. But the previous one, the darts were all over the place.
Only one dart. And Steve Beaton has missed it by a yard in darting terms. And Ricky Evans' fabulous set-up shot, it means it looks like we've got another breaker throw. And that is what we've got. And pick a winner in this one, because nobody can put two decent legs together. If one of these players can, they win the match.
No consistency in this match whatsoever. As I was saying at the back of the last leg, Ricky is miles away from the target with all three darts. The next visit, he's perfect. I get the feeling that the feel he has for these darts is familiar, but I just get the feeling that switching between two sets is not conducive to having a successful end to this season.
The weird thing about this is that you've got two players who are undoubtedly rhythm players. They get into a rhythm, they settle, and you expect that by the time you get to this stage of a game, they are just there and flowing through this match, and they are able to produce some of their better stuff. Now, Ricky Evans might be hitting one of those patches because he's gone 119, back-to-back ton 40s. Treble 19 leaves tops, and he can't produce it, but Beaton has left 166 after hitting a 140. And once again, Steve Beaton leaving a bogey number, but this time it's one of the ones that might cost you.
It should, but it doesn't. He gets one more chance. A chance which he can take if he gets double 16. Oh, that's why he leaves bogey numbers. Because he expects another chance. You don't always get it, but when you do, you've got to take it, and he's just done it.
Ricky Evans, you could see his face there on stage. He knew he should be leading 5-4, but he now must win 2 on the spin. He has not won back-to-back legs in this whole match, Ricky Evans. Oh, dear me.
One good dart from the first 6 of Steve Beaton. One. He is not immune to pressure.
Look, normal circumstances, with what's just happened at the start of this leg, Ricky Evans should be favourite to win the match. He's stolen the darts, he'll have the darts in the last leg. You cannot say this in this contest. It doesn't look like they can win back-to-back legs.
Maybe they're wanting it too much. Steve Beaton is probably thinking this is going to the last leg decider.
There is hardly anything in the averages. They're both averaging about 88. There's been nothing in it in this game. They're both hitting around about 30-odd% of their doubles. But Beaton, one big visit might prove decisive. The first 180 from Beaton, and it leaves him 90 for the match.
What a reply from Rapid. Now what does he do? 60s, surely. Double 15. Oh, he's pushed it too far. And Evans can elongate this game if he can find one of 2 shots at double.
Double 16. It's there. And Ricky Evans will throw for the match. But he has to win back-to-back legs. Steve Beaton, the darts at double 15 were miles away. Some of his misses at double in this game have been uncharacteristically wild. But 2 players who are famed for their rhythm have not been able to settle at all in this match.
There have been things happening on this board this afternoon, Dan, that I can't explain, and I've been around this game a long time. Numbers that have been left, decisions to switch. I mean, Beaton there had plenty of room for a 180. But I'm not going to question him because the way he's scored in this leg so far has been very good.
Well, 1 treble per visit for Ricky Evans might be enough to get him a match dart. Beaton does not leave a finish. And you could see he's jumping up and down, Ricky Evans. The chance is there. And he's wasting it. It's enough to leave a checkout, but it's the biggest checkout in the game.
Earlier in the season, we saw Gerwin Price hit a 167 to finish a match against Jamie Hughes. Can Evans take out the big fish to finish this one? Oh, he's pulled it.
Well, it sums this game up for both of them. One great dart and one poor dart. 18s. Beaton needs a great dart. And it's a poor one. Another match dart is missed by the bronzed Adonis. And Rapid Ricky Evans can steal this game away. 2 match darts, and for once, he is not rapid. And for the first time in a match, he wins 2 legs in a row and somehow squeezes past Steve Beaton. Look at the emotion for Ricky Evans. He has somehow managed to win that game. He needed a big slice of fortune, but he sets up a second round clash with either Ted Everts or James Wade. It will need to be better from Rapid Ricky Evans, but he has got himself an opportunity to improve here in Minehead this weekend.